It is Friday, rawmike.richards.com, broadcasting live from the DKI studios in downtown Toronto, 234 King Street East, out of the Pacific Junction Hotel. Coming up today, picks, and lots of them. Yeah. You got your sexy picks of gold sex, Dave Bastel foreplay, and Russell Graham's happy endings. Can we even do that now? Now we're going to be. Now we're.
What's that?
We're Kevin Spacey now.
Yeah, that was okay. That wasn't that bad. Okay, well then.
I wonder if that was a giveaway when you're hanging around people who do that. Why did you need to see me, Mr. Lauer? I don't know. Hey, the door's locked from the inside. What the hell's going on here? Also, today we're going to talk to Showdown Joe. The news of GSP. Dave came down, yesterday late about colitis.
Yes. Well, he was diagnosed with it about 7 days ago, but the news broke yesterday. Having to vacate that middleweight championship and basically what the UFC's done with it. We'll talk to Showdown Joe about that, and also the fight now GSP has with something completely different, and another victory that is about to come up for GSP, just in, not in the actual octagon.
Unbelievable. As if he hasn't been through enough in his life to make it a great story, but man. So we'll talk to Showdown Joe. We'll talk to our good friend Stephen Rapp. We'll get him from Sports Interaction, and of course your show on the weekend on the Rogers Sportsnet radio network.
Yes, sir.
Inside the Lines. And again, we did watch it or bet it yesterday, which was kind of fun. There was a lot of not watching. There was some betting because there's a couple of decent games out there, but there's some strangeness to this week. So I'll be really interested, as Stephen Rapp loves to take the stinky dogs.
You got it.
You got to have some balls this week because, but it depends though. I got to admit, there probably is some attractive, where you're taking some points there and you're kind of liking it a little bit. So we'll see. Dave will have, as I said, his picks as well, but also something. And this is actually,
when he comes on, you better call him Old Stephen Rapp.
Old Stephen Rapp,
because I think that's something that should stick.
I'm sure he enjoys it. For the first time ever in the history of Raw Mike Richards, we actually have a giveaway. Yeah. Courtesy of our friends at Blade Tape. And just in time for Christmas, next week, if you're a subscriber, if you're watching the screen right now, you could win this. The official Raw Mike Richards Blade Tape. Now, not only is the product outstanding, but this is kind of a cool thing to have and limited to those who are subscribers. If you haven't done it already, Russell's putting up on the screen so you can see it. When you go to our website right now, hit subscribe, you put in your email address, and then we got something called an email blast. If you're on that list, your chance to win, once again, that cool stuff from Blade Tape. It is our first giveaway. It is in time for Christmas, and you want to do that now. So remember, subscribe from rawmikerichards.com in Blade Tape.
That finisher was arguably the best promo we've done on this show in 8 months.
I think it's the only promo we've really done. Very cool, though. I'm excited about that. And people are saying, from the different radio stations, you doing a 12 Days of Christmas? I'm going to try to do it on the limited equipment that I have because it's a little tricky when you actually have to do it.
It is.
So I'll see this weekend
There's
if
a
I
thing
can.
called editing,
But
takes a long time.
It's funny that you say that because you know what? It is the one thing that there is no edit. You
Really,
almost no
right?
edit. You do. I don't want to give it away, but you kind of do it all live with like 6 of them.
Yep.
Because you're coming all the way down.
Yep.
And then you jump in and do all the spaces, 6 all the way up, 6 all the way down. So if you mess it up at some point, at any point,
you got to start from the beginning. Oh, I'd be so.
well, you know what, me and my temper.
Oh,
Oh, I guess you wouldn't hear any.
yeah.
Never heard the 12 Days of Christmas with profanity.
I used to have to do one of my first ever voice jobs was the Talking Yellow Pages in Edmonton, and it was,
You should be doing it now with your cold.
And it was thank you, and it was
Well, actually, Mike, it reminds me of 1984.
and it was one of those things where you'd have your report, and it was one take or redo. And some of these reports were 7-8 minutes, and from doing this much more than I do, 7-8 minutes of content is a lot of content because you're reading at a normal pace like this, and you're going like this, and then you're going like this, and then you're going like this, and then you're going like this, and it's like holy smokes.
I had to do what do they call it? When CD-ROMs came out, and you'd be in there for like a day. It'd be a whole day of stuff because you were doing different parts. I actually had to do the instructional video for anyone in Canada who was hired by Starbucks to be a barista.
Ah, barista.
Yeah. Now, I got to be honest. If that thing got played, I'm sure the human rights or someone from somewhere would complain about all the voices that I did because they asked for me to do those things. So it was like, okay, now you're going to be Pepe, the Mexican coffee bean.
Oh, boy.
Well, what do you want? Hola, my name is Pepe. And you can see now, I was like, wait a minute. This is racist. Yeah, everything's racist. I get it. Everything's
Yes,
racist.
yes.
Don't do anything. Everything's racist.
I wonder if Michelle Wee made an appearance on that tape at all.
There was, let's see,
for Starbucks.
there was a Brazilian,
Yeah.
which I think sounded a lot like the South American guy.
Sure.
Well, one was sort of a Scarface sounding one,
Okay, yeah.
like I don't know, and I'm trying to think.
Maybe like Al Montoya's cousin.
Maybe the African one wasn't quite.
Okay.
Had a little bit of the Mutombo going on.
Yeah.
Like it was like the Messiah jury of coffee or whatever it was.
Very good.
But it went out there. Hey, not my fault, man. They tell me what to do.
Yeah.
I just do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what people should be saying. Hey, I was told to do that. What's that, Louis C.K.? Of all the ones that have happened, that's the one I still don't get.
Yep.
That's the one I still don't get. Because he's in the world of comedy. He must realize what he's doing actually is comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Pulling your pants down, making people watch. Have you ever thought about that, roast beef? Because I gotta be honest. If anyone's gonna pull that off,
It's roast beef. Could be.
with the maple leaf hat on,
And that's it.
show the people the hat. Don't rip them off in the Russ cam. There. Have you ever thought about doing something like that?
Never.
Oh,
Not
okay.
once.
Okay, now back to Dave.
Yep.
Okay, so just in seconds here, we're praying for this one.
Yes.
Showdown Joe, who's been on the show a bunch of times, and he was down actually doing. He had some gig in Miami, and I asked him. I said, "Well, just bring me something back." So I got to be honest. I think of a lot of things that people want to know. They need to know.
Whether he brought you something back.
Did Showdown? Yeah. So just while I'm
funny.
dealing with Skype here, why don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at yesterday's out-of-town scoreboard. You caught the Thursday night game in the NFL. 2017 was the final. The Falcons get by and live to fight another day, which a lot of people found that surprising. Falcons slight favorites in that game, so they actually cover the number. Let's go to yesterday's NHL outside of the Jets game because we don't want to discuss that. Boston hammering Arizona 6-1. Pittsburgh in overtime 4-3 better than the Islanders. It was Calgary over the Montreal Canadiens 3-2 in overtime as well. Tampa Bay hammers Colorado at home. Next up for Tampa Bay, the Jets on Saturday night. St. Louis 3-0 winners over Dallas, and Philadelphia keeps on winning. What's going on? They sweep Western Canada 4-1 in
hard
Vancouver,
to do.
the final.
By the way, hard to do.
Los Angeles 4-3 in overtime. San Jose gets by the Carolina Hurricanes by that same score. Make that 5-4 in overtime.
Well, the phone appears to be ringing. So
Okay, let's do this.
Showdown Joe. on the news of GSP, which is kind of hard. And he knows him really well, too, by the way. So we're calling the right person. I know that. Is the fabulous Showdown Joe available?
Yes, sir. How are you, Mike?
Buongiorno, come va?
Tutto a posto, grazie.
Fratello, you look mint. You look mint today. Mint. Hey, by the way, I think the thing that people want to know, I know you had that gig down in Miami somewhere, and I publicly said, get me something, which I thought was really nice on my behalf.
Yeah, it was, yep.
Did you grab me something in did you get me a little trinket from Miami? Because I really hope you did. It's Christmas.
Unfortunately, those trips when I head down to Miami, the way they usually work is that I'm just so busy. I'm in the hotel room the majority of the time researching fights and stuff like that. I barely get out to get a bite to eat, and if it's not in the hotel lobby or the hotel restaurant, I got nowhere to go, man.
What, no soaps? You can get some
towels, nice hotel towels.
I think you could cough up the shampoo. I'm not being a dick. I'm just saying perhaps the shampoo is something you want to give up.
Touche.
Hey, you know, the news yesterday coming down, and look, I know you, of all the people that we've come into the business, GSP is someone that I know you know very well. The news of colitis was, I guess it was out there, but officially, are we saying what, it came down late yesterday?
It came down actually about a day or so ago, but the release came out yesterday that he was vacating the title. This is something he's been dealing with since the beginning of the Bisping camp. There was something wrong during training. One of his longtime jiu-jitsu instructors, John Danaher, had posted something on Instagram after the fight. I'd come to an end. George became the champion. Very proud of George, but he sort of detailed the problems George was having throughout the camp. Not being able to hold down food, vomiting, just various health issues. They tried to put on weight in a certain scientific manner. They brought in like world-class nutritionists and weight trainers, and his body just wasn't reacting. And it turns out, long story short, it was this the whole time. So now he's got to deal with it, and it's unfortunate. But, it's not looking good for George.
Crohn's, colitis, of those areas, I certainly have a little bit of delving into. A good friend of mine, his son has Crohn's, and the one thing I do know in terms of, trying to even maintain what's considered, Dave, like a normal body weight, like just nutrition itself, what you have to deal with in terms of even body function. I couldn't imagine for a guy in that sport even considering, any sort of idea of continuing on. It just would simply be impossible, and what we hope for is just for GSP and for George to have a semblance of a healthy a life as he can have, because it can be real devastating for entire families.
Yeah, big time. I mean, my conversations via text with him yesterday were pretty minimal. He's not saying much. His spirits are I guess we could say technically they're okay. They're high. But he's just, usually we go back and forth with stuff that we're joking around, and he's been very, very quiet. I'm not saying he's depressed. I'm not saying he's upset, but he knows that he's got to take care of himself now. He's not getting any younger, guys. He's not 26. He's like 36, 37. So health is the number one concern. I mean, yes, he's a natural competitor. He loves to compete. He loves to fight. But at this point here, first things first, take care of your health before anything. And I kind of give him kudos for giving back the title. He's not holding up the division like we're seeing right now with Conor McGregor and other fighters that have been injured in the past, holding on to that title to be the UFC champion. He's like, look, man, I'm not holding this division up. Robert Whittaker is the interim champion. Let him be the champion. He deserves it. Great fighter. He is the guy that I was supposed to defend to, or at least unify the titles with. But there's no point in me waiting around if I don't have a concrete answer as to how long I'm going to be out for. So here's the title. I'm out. Once I'm back, once I'm ready, we'll take a look at it and we'll figure out what needs to get done with the UFC.
And I was just going to ask you about that, Joe. Good morning. The timelines on GSP, we really don't have one, do we?
No, good morning, Dave. We don't. I mean, I did a podcast yesterday with Fightful MMA. We're just talking about it because it was such big breaking news, even though it was late at night. I had a bout with diverticulitis, the same thing that Brock Lesnar had, although Brock's was way worse than mine. And it's not along the same lines, but it sort of is. And what I was told after I had my surgery, diet change, complete and utter diet change. I was a heavy guy that was protein heavy, very low carbs, very, very low vegetation, and it changed completely. You got to uptake your vegetation, lots of green leafy vegetables, tons of fiber related products in general. So George is going to have to go through that because that's his body potentially reacting. I'm not a doctor, don't get me wrong, but potentially saying, you know what, dude, you got to start changing up your diet and eating a little different. I'm sure he was eating clean, but maybe not the right mixture of proteins to carbs to fat. So I had to make that change. It did very, very well for me. I mean, I lost a ton of weight after that, so way healthier now. But I'm not a pro athlete, guys. Let's be honest for a second. They are. So there's going to have to be some changes. But in terms of timeline, I mean, my surgery was, it happened in the hospital for a week. That was it. I don't know what it's going to be for George, though, and I don't know what the recovery time is. And, again, we're dealing with a professional athlete that, training in general is difficult, let alone competing. So he's got to be at optimum percentages to even consider getting back. So we'll see what's going to happen. No word yet as to the next steps and procedures, but he should know within a week.
Now, you mentioned, guys like Conor McGregor, when you're taking a look moving forward, because we thought at some point, it was realistic that those two may have fought. In the world of UFC at that level, for, Dana White and for those involved, how does that move the universe for them? What pieces of those puzzles at the top end? What happens now?
From a promotion perspective, as long as we always remember that the UFC is not the sport, the UFC is a brand, it's a business. Mixed martial arts is the sport. From a business perspective, it absolutely sucks for them because their top two guys, George St. Pierre and Conor McGregor, their top pay-per-view draws, are out. George is out indefinitely. We don't know how long he's going to be out. Conor McGregor is in big trouble based on what he did in Ireland, jumping into the cage at that Bellator event. So we don't know if they're going to throw the book at him or if he's going to get off with a slap on the wrist. But the bottom line is he's not competing in the octagon, which means he's not generating money for the UFC. So from a business perspective, I'm sure they think it sucks. So they've got to figure out exactly what to do now with Conor McGregor if they want to start making some big bucks. As a promotion, as a business, either at least to start off 2018, because as it stands right now, those cards in 2018 are already filling up, and none of them have Conor McGregor headlining them. So they've got to figure out exactly what to do with Conor, because to even consider George St. Pierre isn't going to happen. So again, building stars, which is what the name of the game is for the Ultimate Fighting Championship. They got to start building these new stars, getting lots of hype around them, and to see who can start taking the mantle, who could be the next person to grab that torch from the likes of George St. Pierre. So it remains to be seen, but no one has that cachet like George or Conor McGregor right now. John Jones is out for probably 4 years. So again, back to building stars for these guys.
Yeah, when you talk about stars, there was none bigger at one time than Ronda Rousey, Joe. There has been a lot of documented reports that she has been seen at the WWE power plant in Orlando, Florida. Are we just talking about right now, and considering her relationship with the McMahon family, close to Stephanie as well, is this just a matter of time until we see Ronda in a WWE ring, and what's the timelines on that?
I think so. It's something we've been talking about a lot at the site for the better part of 6 months now. Ronda's a competitor. Let's be honest for a second. She's a great competitor, but her skill set was basically exposed when she fought Amanda Nunes. When she lost that title or when she wasn't able to win the title back from Amanda Nunes, it showed a lot. So she realized that, maybe mixed martial arts for me right now isn't the way to go. Professional wrestling. She's a huge professional wrestling fan, massive WWE fan, and if it's an option for her, again, to incur income along with her acting career, why not take it? So I think the news of her going over to WWE will likely be solidified, and a press release will be coming out soon. I don't know when, but I can't see her coming back. Despite Dana White saying, it's 50-50 with Ronda every day. One day she wants to come back, the next day she doesn't want to come back. You just never really know. But I think her future right now is going to be in the WWE, especially with her 4 horsewoman crew that she has, and that storyline. It's really picking up. So they're doing really good stuff. Guys, I don't watch professional wrestling. I don't act like I do know, but the people that I work with over at Fightful are heavy into it, and they're all over this story, and they really believe it's just a matter of time before that announcement is made, and we see Ronda Rousey in the squared circle.
Yeah, you'd have to give me, Dave, a good idea of why she wouldn't do this.
Yeah.
Like honestly, if it's just sitting there, Joe,
Well, Joey, and you know the success Ken Shamrock had, and it's it's still a toll on the body, but it's not even remotely close to what an MMA fighter goes through. Travel could be a problem, but as you know, Joe, when you're Ronda Rousey, you write your own ticket. You almost set up a kind of contract, like perhaps the Undertaker had, where he only does X amount of shows, or like Brock Lesnar has, he only does this amount, and it's only a matter of time until the WWE puts their women's title on her just because of who she is, and everybody makes money. It's a great situation for her, and I think this is something that she could probably do successfully for the next 10 years if this is truly what she wants to do, because she definitely is and has the athletic ability to do this sort of sport.
You're bang on. You're bang on. She will determine, in my opinion, how many shows she will do a year. She will decide her schedule. She does have that cachet to do that, unlike someone that is coming up the ranks, someone building their career. This is all they have. Ronda Rousey has a name.
Yes.
So with that name comes the ability to negotiate and say, I'll only do 12 shows a year. I'll only do 24 shows a year. I'll do 15 shows a year. I'll do 5 shows a year. I'll do all the big pay-per-views and a couple of Monday Night Raws or SmackDowns. So she does have that cachet, and I could see her doing exactly what you just said. Again, it's just a matter of what does she want? What does she want to do? Does she have any movie offers? Does she have any roles that she needs to play? So she does have that cachet where she can determine, you know what, I'm only doing X amount, and this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Joe, thanks so much for joining us here on short notice. Really appreciate it. And if we don't get a chance to see you, I say Buon Natale.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Buon Natale and Buon Capodanno to both of you guys.
And Buon Anno. and I hope for you, your whole family, troppo puttani. Is that nice?
I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate it, brother.
Ci vediamo. Thanks so much, Joe.
Ciao, guys.
Thanks, buddy.
Ciao. That is Joe Ferraro. Showdown Joe.
Showdown Joe, you bet.
Who
he is awesome. One of my favorite guests.
He's great.
I'm so glad we're able to access everything he has to offer for this sport, because it's just like when I sent you the message yesterday. This is breaking news. Maybe we could get this guy on to talk about this, just because he's our guy, and he knows exactly what's happening better than anybody else.
And sad news too. I mean, I realize the struggles that these guys go through. I mean, you think about what they have to do to actually really do this sport.
Yep.
But the reality is, just for existence now and for his own health, that becomes a big enough challenge. And as he mentioned, for Dana White and for the promotional aspect of what they are at UFC, you want to lose that. Now, Conor McGregor's is self-inflicted. So it's hard to, and it will come down to, I think, to a degree, what do they really want to do to their guy who is their moneymaker and be disciplinary at the same time?
Yeah.
Like, you got the balls to sit there and go, no, Conor, we're not going to have you. Like, you are cutting your own throat by doing that, but how do you show at the same time discipline? I don't know if it works that way, but...
Because you're right, and it's funny. When Joe was explaining it, it's what are they going to do with Conor, who decided to run into the ring and act like a complete moron? Because that's what happened. It's like, no, don't. So
I honestly think, though, in that circumstance, that's when you realize that athlete realizes he's bigger
than the sport,
or
at least thinks that,
and he thinks that.
Yeah.
I mean, when you try to translate to another sport, do we think that Tom Brady believes that he's bigger than the sport? Well, the sport said, and the league said,
nope,
we're actually going to go through with the Deflategate, and you're missing some games.
Yeah, they couldn't wait. NFL made it their mission to.
It was hardcore, at least in terms of them wanting to get him on that charge.
Yeah. Oh, and while we're on that topic. Huge shout out to Roger Goodell for that 5-year extension. I know he's listening right now. Congratulations, 5 more years.
He should negotiate on our behalf, because that's
some serious cake too.
His contract is ridiculous.
Wow,
like it truly is. Okay, so we will right now. Let's refresh the Skype.
Ooh, I like
as we get into the world of gambling with old Steven Rapp. He might like this. Might be a good week for him, because if you're looking at the awful dog,
Think so?
There's a lot of numbers I think that you'd bite on, and simply because there's a lot of teams that are at home. Okay, someone's taking Cleveland. Somebody's taking Cleveland, Dave, because this is it.
I bet you more money comes in if they ever apply the hook to it. Because right now, the Green Bay Packers are 3-point favorites in Cleveland. If you're going to give a hook, you're going to get more people wanting to bite. So we'll soon find out. We'll ask our man OSR. Oh, Stephen Rapp.
Good morning.
There he is from Sports Interaction. By the way, I loved your line last night. Obviously, you've been doing some clubs or sharpening the pencil. But when we talked about watch it or bet it, you said it's better than Wheel of Douchebag. I thought that was a winner. That's a winner for me.
Yeah, what channel is that on?
And it is, because if you've watched Wheel of Douchebag, it really sucks. I mean, they're all just douchebags, and they don't know any answers. They can't spell. So, of course, Watch It or Bet It is going to be better. I'm a big Watch It or Bet It fan back in the TSN days.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's the problem. If we play, I thought, hey, maybe Stevens will play it. But it doesn't matter if you watch it. You're obviously gonna say bet it on every game. I think.
That's not true.
Oh.
I mean, if I don't like a game, I'm not going to bet every game for the sake of betting every game. Like, am I going to bet Brett Hundley on a road as a favorite against Cleveland? No, I'm not. But am I going to watch that game? No, I'm not going to watch it either. So sometimes, you're either going to watch it or bet it.
Okay, well, let's get the magic started, because there is a lot of stuff on the boards where I think people are going to be very interested in the Dogs, because those that you trust, some of them on the road, I don't know if you do. So Chicago goes into Cincinnati. Cincinnati is a full touchdown -7 at home.
Yeah, and that's the game you choose to talk about. The Cincinnati Bengals taking points. Giving up points on the road against a bad Chicago team. Listen, Andy Dalton is the fourth most profitable quarterback in the last 10 seasons when playing a sub-500 opponent. He is 25-14-3 against the spread. That improves to 16-8-2 against the spread when he faces sub-500 teams outside the AFC North. Is that reason enough to bet Cincinnati? No, because they're horrible, and Andy Dalton is horrible. So this is not a game that I'll be looking at. But I will tell you one thing: the Bengals coming off that horrible display of a football game Monday night. They gave up a bad loss. Who knows what their frame of mind is? Look, this is another one. Watch it or bet it. I will neither be watching it or betting it, unless of course it comes up on what I call sports porn, which is the red zone, and I might watch a little bit of that if they ever get into the red zone.
Yeah, Stephen Rapp does love his. If Red Zone ever does a promo with a customer. If Stephen Rapp isn't the first one in line to do this, I would be shocked, to tell you the honest truth. Nobody sells Red Zone like Steve Rapp. So
it changed my life.
See,
it literally
changed his
much
life.
like the musical Hamilton. It changed my life. And Half-Baked Baskel knows about my love of the musical Hamilton.
No, he does. Nobody loves Hamilton like Steve Rapp. Okay, let's get to a game that you will watch. I'm not sure if you're going to bet it, but Minnesota-Carolina is great at all levels. Carolina needing this win. Minnesota kind of in control of that North Division. They come in, the Vikings on the road, 2.5-point favorites. And you know what? Back-to-back road games for the Vikings. Last weekend it was against a pretty decent Falcons team. They handled them. Can they do the same thing to Carolina in Carolina?
Well, public money's been all over Minnesota, moving it from the Vikings 1 all the way up to Vikings a 3-point favorite. Wise guys, professional money saw this quite a bit as an overreaction. They're buying back the Panthers +3, and I think they'll do that wherever they can. Listen, one thing we should note: this will be Minnesota's third straight road game over the past 3 years. NFL teams 14-26 straight up, 13-25-2 against the spread in their third consecutive road game. Minnesota's been great. I would tend to lean towards Minnesota here, just from the fact that they're just great on defense, and that's what good defenses do. They bottle up Carolina. I do concern myself about the fact that but they are playing the third road game in a row. But I would lean to Minnesota here, playing the small number on the road against Carolina. It's what they've been doing. They've come up against every challenge that they've had, and they've just looked great. And who knows? Case Keenum, Hall of Fame. John Elway, Case Keenum. I mean, he's been he's been surprised. Well, what does it say? I said it on the show. What does it say about Jeff Fisher that he had Jared Goff and Case Keenum on the roster last year, and he had the worst offense in the league? I mean, I would suggest that maybe Fisher might want to keep that part off his future resume.
I'll tell you, no one takes a beating lately for a coach who's not in the league than Jeff Fisher. He literally gets roasted on a daily basis on what has happened since he's been gone from some of those teams.
Well, for sure. I mean, and why wouldn't you? I mean, he basically said Jared Goff was not good enough to play quarterback for him, and Case Keenum, he couldn't get anything out of the guy. And now all of a sudden, two of the best quarterbacks in the league are two guys that he threw on the garbage heap. I think that says really all you need to know about the quality of Jeff Fisher as a coach.
Dallas is such a public team. They're minus 3.5 on the road at a Giants team that obviously has completely fallen apart and probably will have a massive or should have a massive cleanup job in the offseason. Do you trust Dallas on the road at minus 3.5?
No, and Cowboys taking all the public money, but the bigger bets in this game, Mike, have been on for the professional bettors. They've been on the Giants and moved it from its opener of 5.5 to where you see now 3.5 now. Obviously, that big news in New York has changed to Steve Spagnuolo as an interim head coach. Not a really bad thing when it comes to the point spreads. Teams changing coaches mid-season have gone 8-2 against the spread in the coach's first games at the helm since 2008. I'm not putting a ton into the Cowboys' 38 points over that depleted Redskins team last time out. They failed to score double digits in the three previous games, and even against the Redskins, they had only 93 yards passed and scored on a punt return, were +4 in turnovers, resulting in points. We can't take away that Dak Prescott hurt his throwing hand. We don't know how healthy he will be. And the Giants have held the Cowboys to 45 points over the last three meetings with Zeke on the field. And it is December. It is that time of the year. If you've listened to me over the years, one thing I really go for, loosey-goosey home teams. I knew you were waiting for it, Mike. I knew you guys were waiting.
Absolutely loosey-goosey.
Loosey-goosey home teams playing for nothing against teams in the playoffs, taking points. Love my loosey-goosey. Going to take the Giants there.
So loosey-goosey. So how do we look at that Oakland team that gets 4 points going to Kansas City, who look like they're completely lost?
Yeah, no loosey-gooseys there, Steven.
No loosey-gooseys because Oakland's on the road. Chiefs opened up as a 3.5-point favorite, now sit 4. I said last week, anybody who listened on our show, that the Chiefs didn't deserve to be road favorites versus anybody. It proved correct when they lost to the Jets. But now they're in a home in their division where they're comfortable getting to throw it around against one of the league's worst pass defenses in a revenge game. Remember this one, Week 7, 31-30 loss in Oakland, Kansas City did, when the Raiders got, 15-20 end-time downs at the end of the game to finally win it. KC 12-5 against the spread within the division since 2014. They're 15-2 straight up in the division and winning all 15 by 6 points or more. They got it back to throwing it downfield with some success last week. They should continue to do that against the Raiders defense. It's given up 20 touchdowns through the air, have only got 1 interception, and they give up 108.2 passer rating against. That is the worst in the league. I expect Alex Smith to pick apart this Raider defense, and I expect them to cover what is now 3.5 or 4 points.
Are the Arizona Cardinals in your loosey-goosey category, considering they have nothing to play for? They're at home. You get 3 points against a team that's traveling across the continent to get there.
Yes, I will be. I will be on Arizona. Tickets to this game, I'm going to split evenly, but the percentage of dollars being wagered are on the Cardinals. That's why we've seen the Cardinals come down to 3 across the market. Sharp money is on Arizona. Titans, really, they're posting a minus 16-point differential against one of the easiest schedules in the NFL. Tennessee has only won 2 of its past road games by 3 against the Browns in overtime, by 4 at Indianapolis. This Titans team relies on their run game, but the Cardinals rank in the top 10 in the number of rush defense statistics. I'll take Arizona at home taking points against pretty much a fraudulent Tennessee team. I think the value here is along with the professional money in Arizona.
There's going to be a fantastic game. That's Philadelphia at the Los Angeles Rams. I'm really looking forward to that one. It looks like the number has gone down, I believe. It's now -2 Rams. Has the number gone down?
Yeah, the number's sitting at, 2.5 now last time I looked.
-2 this morning.
Two. No, it's -2. Yeah, Rams 2 is a total of 48. So, yeah, that number has come towards the Rams a little. Has come towards Philly a little bit. That's because the onslaught of public money has been on Philadelphia. They think they bounced back. They bounced back after the loss against Seattle last week. But there has been some sharp money on the Rams, and I'm going to go with the Rams here just because this is a tough spot for Philadelphia. They come off a tough loss on a Monday last week against Seattle. I know they've stayed out west. I'm not sure exactly how that always works out. But Philly has beaten only one team with a winning record this year. They're 1-4 against the spread. Their last 5 on the road versus teams with winning records. Rams 6-1 against the spread. Their last 7 overall. If you look at that Eagles schedule, I'm just not convinced they're as good as everybody thinks they are. I mean, you really look at who they've beaten, and they haven't beaten a lot of teams. This is a tough game. These are two teams that are a bit of a surprise, and you're really not going to get what you know you're going to get. I do believe the Rams laying a small number at home are the way to go in this one.
What is your favorite game of the week? Have we talked about it? Do you have a game that you love? Shocked to see the number in this Baltimore-Pittsburgh game as high as Steelers, the 5.5-point favorite. We saw Monday night, the AFC North, brutally tough, sometimes dirty football, always seems to play in close games. As a matter of fact, 8 of the last 12 games between these two teams have been decided by 4 points or less. I've said many times over the years, it just feels like whatever the spread is in this game, you take 3 points, chances are the worst you're going to do is a push. Here we're going to get 3 and 4 gets you the win. Why not take the Ravens, who are starting to play December, January type football? They're really rolling now. They own this division in head-to-head. They're 10-2 against the spread their last 12 divisional games, 6-1-1 their last 8 road divisional games. Big Ben has struggled in reached matchups against the Ravens, which is 4 touchdowns, 6 interceptions against them. And finally, David, what do we say every week? Better defense.
Taking points in the division.
Handicapping staple for me. Oh, when those points are in the division, that's even better. I think it's ridiculous that this number is 5.5. This is a 3-point game. It always is a 3-point game. And this is my favorite of the week, Baltimore taking the points.
Stephen, thanks so much for today. As always, hope the family's good. The wife is still happy? Happy wife?
Well, it's a happy wife, happy life.
Yes.
It's close. It comes and goes like everything else. Coming up on our 30th year anniversary, you know what they say, if I killed her, I'd been out 15. They say if I killed her, I'd be out 15 years ago.
Hey, Stephen, you take care. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
Stephen Rapp from Sports Interaction with his take on what he plans on doing. Interesting, he talked about Pittsburgh, because when we took a look at that number as well, they have been almost the most inconsistent team I can think of. What you see on paper necessarily doesn't really tell the story this year, and that's why when you get to analytics and you get everything else, I just need to know who's showing up week to week. And I'll be honest, this is 1 year, I just don't know. And if you're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers getting that many points,
and it's crazy to say this about a 10-2 team.
Yeah,
but you're right. The trust value, nothing.
You're watching rawmike.richards.com on YouTube or the dedicated YouTube channel, or, of course, on rawmike.richards.com. The reason that you may want to pay more attention to rawmike.richards.com, as we mentioned earlier in the show, if you're just catching up with us now. Okay, that is not the music that I wanted at all. This is kind of... That might be a little scarier than the other music that I wanted to play. Your chance to win.
Sounds spooky.
Yeah, it's very... Very
as
spooky.
Russell would say.
Was that like the voice you did in Winnipeg?
It was.
When you did the.
Oh, that was a great time, man.
When you were. Was it Dracula? Who were you?
I don't know.
Dracula was a vampire guy.
You know what? That was the worst night ever. Because not only.
It's nice that I brought that up.
Not only did that tape last forever, some idiot posted it that works at that global television network, and then to boot, I go out to a bar. that night with the cast. And usually, you know, in Winnipeg, a little bit of a wheel. You get to go everywhere you want, and backdoor this, backdoor that. Nobody recognizes me because you're all covered up, and you're sitting there holding your ID, and they're like, yeah, okay, what? You know, because usually it's just facial recognition.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on in, blah, blah, blah.
Now
it's
you're
like,
Dracula.
Now I'm Dracula. It's like, well, there's 1,700 Draculas in here. How the hell do I know it's you?
I'm Dave Love.
Yeah, thank you.
Like,
exactly.
No, you're not. He would never do what you're doing right now.
Yeah, and if you see him, tell him I'm going to beat him up if he's doing it. I will. I know I. So.
Blade Tape next week. If you have subscribed to rawmike.richards.com, your chance to win this for Christmas. I just did that. It is Blade Tape. It is the finest product we got going out there. They are a fantastic sponsor of the show. Teddy the Viking helping us out on this one.
You got it.
But it goes to subscribers only because there will be an e-blast next week. If you haven't subscribed to the website, make sure you do. If you're watching us on the website or if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you get over to rawmike.richards.com. When you get to the main page, you're going to see, as I am showing right now, at the top, just hit subscribe. That way we can get it to you and your chance to walk away with some fantastic product from Blade Tape.
Good old Blade Tape. That's a great prize. And by the way, funny you say that. We just got a new subscriber, R. Graham from Mississauga. I don't know if you know
Employees.
Yeah.
Employees do not qualify.
Okay.
Was that thing? Yeah.
Okay, let me just delete that really quick.
While we're playing this music, and we were talking about wrestling, so it just sort of reminded me of my attempt to, people always ask us, if you're a wrestler, like what would it be? And you kind of fantasize what it was. I tried to do like an Undertaker kind of vibe. So let me show my attempt at what I thought if I was going to wrestle. It looks a little weird. It's kind of,
is that the Undertaker?
Yeah, that's the Undertaker.
Whoa!
Yeah. See,
where's his hat?
See, I think that kind of has a thing because otherwise, but I'm always thinking like Sting, but
yes,
with that hair.
Well, with that hair, yeah.
With that hair, I would like that.
I can see you in the trench coat.
Fully on that.
Would you?
But Dave, before you get back to that,
yeah,
it's very different from my Misha Yakushev, which would be the Russian wrestler, courtesy of the photo in Ufa, Russia. Here's my Russian character.
Oh, okay. See, that could be Nikolai Volkov's tag team partner.
Yeah, is that good?
That is, because him and the Iron Sheik used to be tag team champions.
Nice.
Now
the Sheik likes you, too.
And the Sheik likes me,
he loves
so you. I don't know. I think, or even a manager, right?
Yeah, a manager could be a manager there.
I mean, Freddie Blassie, classy Freddie Blassie, has passed away, so... I mean, if the Sheik in his wheelchair and Volkov, who is in worse shape than Russell, ever get together, you could be the manager of that team.
Yeah. We will win a lot, and that's going to cause some problems. No, the Mad Russian.
Oh, hey, Mad Russians are better than friendly Russians. Don't trust friendly Russians.
Unless you're Trump, and then you count on the Russians being friendly.
Yeah.
Whoa, ho, ho, ho!
No. Well, Russia's had an awesome record lately because not only did they rig the U.S. U.S. election, I should say, they also rigged the World Cup draw. So I mean, 2 for 2, right? I mean, like, what's their first game? Saudi Arabia? Whoa! Slow down. Could you get? Is Canada in this draw? Because Canada didn't even qualify for the World Cup. I thought maybe Canada would be in Group A against Russia.
Well, there's 2 massive tournaments that I would normally be glued to, and both of them I'm kind of, I don't know. One of them is the Winter Olympic hockey tournament.
Yep.
It's debatable on how excited I'm going to be based on who I think is going to play.
It's hockey. I'm watching.
And it's also the time of, it's going to be time of morning.
Yeah.
Want to be in the middle of the night or whatever?
I'm not going to be, doing that. But because of time of night, you're going to get a lot of replays. But then if you're on social media, Canada won 5-2. Oh, great. Thank you. You know what I mean? I know.
It's going to be a push for me. The other one is the World Cup.
Okay.
Because it's just starting to look like, okay, maybe I wait till they get to, the quarterfinals, and then I'm going to see Germany and Brazil. Apparently Brazil is back in a big way.
Yes. Not like
last World Cup was a no-show.
Yeah, the embarrassment to Germany especially.
That's
a hockey game.
That's humiliation.
It was.
Like, that is the equivalent. What was the final score on that one?
Was it
7-1? 7-1?
Yeah. Something like that.
So 7-1 in soccer reminds me of when the Giants humiliated, was it the Minnesota Vikings in that playoff game, like 55-0 or 55-3.
Yeah.
Like it's got to be like a 50 or 60 to a single digit or nothing. That's your equivalent.
Yeah.
And that was horrible. So we'll see. No Netherlands, no Italy,
No Greece.
no Ireland.
Yeah, no Ireland.
No U.S.
No U.S. No Canada. No Canada. No, they're... Oh, right.
What are you saying? Yeah.
No Canada since Mexico, 86.
Yeah, that is a drought.
That's
a drought, my friends.
I actually remember that, too. I think that was...
There's an old clip, and you know who's doing it? Steve Armitage.
Ah.
Welcome to Mexico City.
Oh.
And it was...
Got to bring him back.
Yeah, we'll maybe
Love Steve Armitage.
Canada. You know, it was just, and they, of course, you know what the shorts looked like back then.
Oh yeah. That was like Victor Newman shorts.
It
covered the ass cheeks, and that's
maybe
it.
it's gone from John Stockton shorts to Victor Newman shorts. Because Eric Braden, when he comes in here, there's no way we're not bringing that up. We're not going to. Well, actually, he might. He might bring it up anyway. So here's what we're going to do. We're in the. You know what? This is what we're going to do. We're in the backstretch.
Yes.
We'll do this as well. Brought to us by our friends at Rocky Cross Construction North, known as RCCN. It is part of the DKI family, and they're going to sponsor this backstretch because we also have something called Last Call.
Yes.
But we're going to have them do all your winning picks today because there's lots of them. And once again, RCCN DKI in Calgary. If you're looking for strength in the understanding of restoration and construction, go see Al and his company, our good friend Ryan Thalwell. We appreciate your support. Fantastic. And I guess now we should move. Are we starting with me? So I guess...
Go ahead. Yeah, the floor is yours.
The magic every week of what we like to call...
Hold on, he says.
What we like to call hold on.
He says, hold on to the night.
Hold on. Nothing's the same. Na, na, na. That was actually Ian Thomas wrote it, performed it, and then Santana redid it. Hold on. Nothing's the same. There's cowbell in that one.
That's actually a good song.
Yeah, it's a great song. Ian Thomas is a fun guy. We can ever get him out of bed or something. We should get him. Ian Thomas is great. Okay, so are you ready to go, Russell? With the magic, once again, of what we do every week, starting with this.
Wow.
Okay. All right. We're gonna. All right, Drunky. So make sure that I think that the volume's turned up on your end.
Glug 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 eggnog.
And so once again,
no, nobody buries a technical director like us, eh?
We are going to go to the magic on Friday of this.
And now it's time for.
Okay. That is the Hindenburg did happen there. This happened before too. So now I'm going to look for other music. Sports Interaction, by the way, bringing you this magic. Boy, this is like, I feel like the Cleveland Browns right now.
That's how they feel like.
Okay, so let's, I'm going to go with this music and we'll just pretend that didn't happen. And that the next one is like going to be really, really good. Here we go. We're liking this music today. And maybe we're going to love these picks. Could this thing play? Piss off, losers. Brought to you by RCCN DKI. Sorry, fellas. Okay. I'm going to start with a little college basketball. There's obviously 9,000 games tomorrow, but I'm going to pick some of the games that I really like tonight. So I wish I could. Maybe I'll figure it a way, Dave, during the winter months to do the college basketball because there's so much money out there. There's so many great games. But I'll start with Friday. Here's what we've got on slate. St. John's off to a great start, but they are at Arizona State. Arizona State, I've got them at -5. Arizona State undefeated. They look great. They've also beaten Xavier this year. Kansas State, that was in the beginning of the year, so I got to tell you that I like Arizona State at home -5. It pays 191. Oregon, who got beaten by Boise State, Dave, at the buzzer, one of these chucks from center court, and nobody happy in Eugene. I think they'll be happy when Colorado State comes to town. -14.5 seems like a huge number, but at 183, I'm going to take it. The Ducks going to be in a bad mood. Air Force. They're on the road at Cal Riverside. Air Force actually pretty good, solid team. It's not a huge number at -3.5. I'm going to take them on the road. I mentioned before Premiership. I think actually that was a Victor Newman pick. A huge game this weekend, maybe one of the biggest. You talk about Manchester United And Man City, but even though Man City's on the road at a 210, the best team in the Prem right now, I'll take them again at a 210 on the road. And Oakland, I know what Stephen Rapp said, but I don't trust Kansas City. I think even at best it's probably a field goal game. If it is, I'll take the plus 4 points at a 195. That, by the way, if you take those, $27, so $27.40 times your money, Dave.
Nice little bet there too.
27 times your money.
I'm on the Raiders too, by the way.
I like it. I just don't trust anything
that
they do. So there you have it. There's your sexy picks of gold sex. Now, in the excitement, and I'm very nervous about this. Very nervous. Up next, you know what's coming with Dave Bastel. There we
It's
go.
Friday,
Oh, yeah.
and you know what that means.
Certainly do.
A little full play with Dave Bastel. He gonna give you
Yeah.
some full play you won't forget.
Lock the door.
Brought to you by Sports Interaction Canada's online sports book. Give it something to me, big sexy.
Okay, big sexy.
Absolutely. Here we go. Let's jump on that Oakland bandwagon as well with the 4 points. I love the Oakland Raiders actually winning outright, but you get the 4 points as a cushion in Kansas City. Kansas City has no business being on a field the last 6 weeks, and this is just another debacle that's happening. Could cost some jobs at the end of it, but right now we're concerned with the Raiders, and we get 4 points. I like the Minnesota Vikings minus 2.5. I think it's a small number in Carolina. Minnesota, in my opinion, the best team in the conference. Right now, if I'm picking my Super Bowl, I'm picking the Vikings and the Patriots. I like the Vikings to win. I know it's 3 road games in a row. They'll win in Carolina. I'm a Jimmy G believer. Take the 49ers plus the 2.5 points in Houston. Houston has not played very well since they lost their star quarterback. The 49ers have their guy. I think they win, and you even have a little bit of a cushion there. Finally, Tennessee Titans on the road. I brought it up with Steve because I wanted to see where he was going. I'm happy he picked the Cardinals because I'm on the Titans. I think the Titans win this game. I think the Titans want a matchup with the Jaguars, who are in a tough situation as they host the Seahawks. Titans win this game. You have to give away 3 points. $25 on this bet. $333.
Oh, and there it is. There it is, complete with visuals and sound.
I like that.
David Bastel's foreplay now brought you in living color.
In living color.
In living color.
And they actually used to have those
Oh, yeah.
little bars too, and the slate would drop, and it was like, okay, interesting.
And the NBC Peacock with all the colors.
That's right.
Brought to you in color.
In color.
And now, Russell, don't mess this up. This is your big moment.
You bet.
There's a lot of pressure, and you've got. Are we going hockey as well?
Hockey, yeah.
Okay, so amongst all the technical spectacular moments you've seen today, here comes another one.
Here comes Russell Cam.
And now it's time for Russell Graham's Happy Endings.
All right, so in the NHL tonight, we got Buffalo in Chicago. I'm taking Chicago at minus 1.5.
Oh, puck line.
Pays at 245. And then the other game, Vegas in Nashville. I'm taking the over 6 total.
Ooh, that's a lot of goals.
That pays 187, and I'm taking the Vegas money line on that. So Vegas is the outright winner over Nashville.
Okay, see, that's some balls there, right?
You're
there.
ballsy now.
You bet.
You are you're the I'm trying to say you're the Matt Lauer of hockey picks. I don't know. Does that work?
I think we.
No, I think we do
He
better.
may not want to do that.
Yeah.
He doesn't strike me as a Matt Lauer type.
Happy Endings brought to you by Matt Lauer. Oops. Well, there you have it. there we have. Well, look at all the picks we had today. So remember, in looking at this show, what have we learned?
What we've learned.
It's like Baba Walters. David, what have we learned about today?
We learned that Stephen Rapp loves loosey-goosey home teams.
Stephen Rapp loves woosey-goosey, and he's very, very, very old.
He is old.
Yes.
It's old Stephen Rapp.
In fact, I've been with him several times when I was younger.
In your 60s?
Yeah, back in 1925. We were in a canoe with Geraldo. And we didn't need 2 paddles. Why am I? All of a sudden, what was that last voice? I don't know. I turned into Adam Sandler. You should have seen what happened years ago with Stephen Rapp. We learned that sometimes technical aspects of the show are hard.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's good.
And now
that's good.
Okay. We learned that.
Yep.
We've got. We had the goal. I think. Do we always disagree with Stephen Rapp on the picks?
I'm going to say conservatively 89% of the time.
It's okay, 89% of the time. And Russell was just letting it go today with those picks.
Oh, yeah.
And we also learned that you've got to subscribe if you want to be on that Blade Tape giveaway we've got 2 weeks, or 2 weeks of Christmas fun.
That's right.
Make it a very merry Richard's Christmas. Okay, that sucked.
No, that was okay.
You think so?
No, I'm cool with that. The key point of the show is subscribe to win.
Subscribe to win.
And if you don't subscribe, you're, what's taking you so long?
Yeah.
And not only that, when your friend next to you at work leaves his computer, go to his computer and subscribe for him because you're doing him a favor.
Yeah. Log. Get it done.
Yeah. It's pretty easy stuff.
Yeah. Just
you click a button lately? Come on.
Yeah.
And while you're at it, start retweeting some stuff too.
Yeah. Could you share it?
Jeez.
Just win, baby.
We do everything for you.
What? We do everything, and you guys do nothing.
Just become best friends. Yep.
Maybe we shouldn't yell at our audience.
Yeah.
Right?
Who do you think you are?
It's time.
I'd like to thank our good friend Showdown Joe, talking about the terrible news of something that we knew, but it was official yesterday. GSP, I guess, really resigning and stepping down, retiring.
Yes.
With the news of colitis, which is a fight unto itself. He'll win it, as Dave said, but still really tough news to hear yesterday.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Also, our good friend, old Stephen Rapp from Sports Interaction. Don't forget Inside the Lines, Dave, this weekend as well on the Fan.
Yeah, 10 o'clock Sunday mornings. Join us.
And make sure you subscribe. If you want to win from Blade Tape, you got to do it, and do it today. Have yourself a great weekend.